Hello, welcome to another X feed. Today we're actually live streaming on TikTok as well. If you're wanting to go check that out, it's at Schillerverse. We wrote some notes about how we're starting the show off. We got Crypto Undead's reaction, Immutable and Cool Cats. We got the Futureverse community and a little bit of a stir for that. The excitement around NFTs, wanting to kind of talk about how that's something that if you're feeling kind of bored, disinterested in whatever kind of thing that you have going on in your life, maybe this is something that you will find more interesting. I think a lot of people have kind of this negative conception of NFTs and around it, but really it's just kind of the way the internet is evolving. New Mint's doing extraordinarily well. We're going to go over that as well. And then PayPal. They said they're going to shock the world. Do you guys believe that PayPal could shock the world? I don't know. We'll get into that. The first thing that we have going on here is a quick reminder that Ethereum hit a $10 billion market cap in terms of revenue, faster than any other major software company besides Google. So when we're talking about Web3 and all this, realize it's moving much quicker than everything else. And the idea between blockchain and AI converging, another thing that is going to be quite interesting later on. I want to go through this thread from Bankless as well. What's going on? If you guys are joining on TikTok, again, we are live on Twitch, YouTube, etc., etc. If you're wanting to go check that out, just check the link in my bio. Now, for the actual stream here, yo, Cario, what's going on? Caruso, triple double banger. Wanting to bring up NBA Top Shot for a second. The digital basketball moments, how absolutely insane were those? Way back in the day, Pat McAfee was talking about it. If you watched NBA TNT, Shaquille O'Neal, they were like, oh, Top Shot this. We had announcers going over it, and the market for it kind of died down a little bit. But apparently in November, if you bought the Jamie Jaquez Jr. rookie debut moment, they were $6. Now they're over 40. How absolutely exciting if you happen to buy into those. But this kind of highlights that, again, the digital physical realm, it's getting merged, and what was exciting before within Top Shot, it might be there again. Now, Bitcoin Ordinals. This is something that I never really have gotten into. I think that there's potentially a marketplace for that, but we're seeing new projects coming out and minting thousands to millions of dollars instantly, and that shows to me that there's new interest. There's people that are wanting to get involved. There might have been people that have heard about NFTs and they didn't want to touch it before until it was in Bitcoin Ordinals. And for anybody that's new, trying to look into the space as well, there might be this thing where I'm not going to touch this until it's an IP or a brand that I trust and recognize. But still, another 10,000 PFP collection. Apparently, there's going to come out at $500, and they're called the Commoners. Another one here that's called Quantum Cats. I wish I could show the video on TikTok because it looks absolutely ridiculous, but it's a cat with a bunch of numbers that are highlighted. More mints, more things. I don't get it, but it is the Rainbow Wallet. That's coming out next Tuesday with something. They have a little bit of a video where it shows a rabbit that's dancing, and then it's got the logo of Friendtech. Now, if you don't know what Friendtech is, it's kind of like a blockchain social app where you're able to buy keys to get access to a certain chat. Which, I mean, listen, people try to do that for exclusive access to things right now, if you know what I mean. But within this, it was like, oh, there's people that are having interesting opinions. If you're wanting to hear like the thoughts of somebody, you could buy these keys and then sell them. It had this weird kind of massive FOMO excitement moment, and then it completely died off. But apparently Rainbow Wallet could be bringing that into effect. Now, Cool Cats and Immutable have announced a partnership. If you are a video game player, there's probably a good likelihood that you're, a fan of your 1 to 2 games. For me, it's old school RuneScape, woohoo, and League of Legends. Woo, toxic, we love it. But with that said, Immutable apparently has over 100 different games, and they just announced a partnership with Cool Cats. Now, Cool Cats was in the Macy's Day Parade that we saw, and Immutable being one of the biggest Web3 platforms out there for gaming, this was a pretty huge announcement, and they were saying that Match Quest launching in Q2, I guess that's what they're calling it, they're going to expand their audience, become multi-chain and cross-platform, and further reward engagement. What the hell does that mean? I have absolutely no idea, but we're going to see still these mass partnerships within the Web3 space, I think are going to be interesting. We're still waiting to see those big what's the right term here? The big brands to come through, like Starbucks, for example. If you didn't know, you are able to get like the Starbucks NFT, and they've apparently given out like hundreds of dollars of free Starbucks. And that was something that you could buy for like $50 when it first came out. And so when these big brands come in and they actually have something that people are wanting, it's kind of cool. But for this, it's specifically a game partnership. And Bildo, what's up, legend? Happy Friday to you too, sir. Okay, Gucci. Do you guys like Gucci? Is this a brand that you care about? Do you even care about brands? If you're Canadian, apparently at one point there was a survey that went out, and I remember in like high school or college in the yearbook, and they had like what's hot and what's not. They put Best Buy. They put Best Buy in the brands that were like hot. I don't think Best Buy even exists anymore. And if it does, it doesn't have anywhere near the popularity from back in high school. But for some of these other clothing brands like Gucci, they had the partnership with the Web3 brand 10KTF. And apparently those physicals, which I can highlight up on here, and sorry that it's not available on TikTok. And again, I'm live if you want to check out my bio on Twitch and YouTube to be able to see that. And X, which I got shredded. I posted a TikTok yesterday and I said X instead of Twitter. And I got ridiculed for it. So to get the engagement going, we're just going to keep calling it X, if you know what I mean. But again, these look kind of cool. Gucci collab. Not really sure how successful it's going to be once they're out. Is that something that a lot of collectors are going to want to go for? Is 10KTF still this brand that people want? Obviously, Gucci is. And we have this back and forth. Within the Pixel Vault ecosystem, the Skull V, it was bought for 14 ETH or $34,000. And we're going to have this kind of thread going on about here of some big purchases that have happened across all the ecosystems, including CryptoPunks. But friendly reminder, Universal Page has raised exactly $0 and been in development for over 2 years by 2 people. Yesterday on the stream, we talked about Luxo. This is another blockchain that's coming out, and apparently this universal.page is a gasless marketplace and tools for the next generation of digital collectibles. I read half of these off your bios. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever run anything, make sure the bios are top notch, because that's the first impression that everybody's going to have. But if this is a marketplace, we've seen in Futureverse, for example, where there's been Mark and people don't like it. It's laggy. It's awful. And apparently for anybody that is into Futureverse that's watching on their recent community AMA, the community lead mentioned that they were in talks with OpenSea. So that's something where we might see kind of a cross collaboration with some of these marketplaces and at new chains. Yo, Patch. What's going on, brother? How you doing? So just want to give a quick shout out to that, because I think there's going to be things that we mention, and then in a few days from now, we'll be like, wow, that's back and that's cool. Okay, someone bid 1,700 ETH on this CryptoPunk. You can't see it on TikTok, but it's just the alien one, and that is $4.2 million. Now, let's go back a little bit. If you remember when NFTs first took off, there was this huge story where Gary Vaynerchuk got a bunch of influencers, including Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, all of them on a call, and they were like, listen, this is going to be the future. You guys need to get into this. And boom, fast forward, we saw kind of a huge run-up from a lot of those people buying, but then just kind of general market sentiment for NFTs overall. But then everything came crashing back down. And then CryptoPunks kind of held their own, because everybody's like, oh, this is historic. And now we're back having $4.2 million bids on them. Kind of crazy stuff. Another bid for a zombie punk for 450 ETH, which is $1.12 million. And apparently somebody swept 19 CryptoPunks as well. And that's just ridiculous. Back to back. So we're seeing the market trend really starting kind of to pick up. And then Flamingo DAO went and swept 17 squiggles for 144 ETH or $357,000. Now, a little bit of FUD. We want to talk about FUD, all that kind of good stuff. Artifact. This is a company that was bought by Nike. And the founders, you know, they have a right to kind of be a little bit arrogant here and there, right? Because they did something that a lot of people strive for, right? Like getting your company that you built acquired by Nike. That is a crazy feat. And with this, there's been a lot of backlash and whatnot. And so one of the founders posted earlier today saying, since it seems like it's still a thing for NFT villagers, I think he's talking about us, to FUD Artifact in 2024 based on false information, kindly and respectfully asking the actual community members to correct these fools when they see one of those artifacts selling you something again, tweet on the timeline. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, with Artifact, they sold these physical shoes. So if you are, you're a big fan of shoes and collectibles, and you're like, damn, like I want to get this new pair that's a part of this new company that's a subsidy of Nike, it cost a whole bunch of money, and a lot of the other launches, which some people are hoping are kind of in the digital realm because that's what it's all about, right? Cost a lot. And so with them saying, oh, I want the real community to clap back at the people saying Artifact selling you something again, to me that says, okay, I would assume that they're not going to sell us anything here in 2024. And then they put out this update, and this update is something interesting, ladies and gentlemen. So they say respectfully, to start off. We love saying respectfully. Here is a Project Animus update, and Project Animus is just kind of a subsidy or collection that these guys are launching as well, and it's these eggs. So those eggs will be capped at 20,000, meaning there will be no public sale of Project Animus eggs. As of today, there are 16,794 eggs that have been claimed. The egg claim period for any Clone X collectible that have not yet claimed an egg will remain open until March 1st, 2024. For any unclaimed eggs after March 1st, Artifact will look at options for distribution of the unclaimed eggs to the rest of the Clone X community of holders to reach the 20,000 Project Animus egg supply cap. Additional details to follow. Yada, 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 and they have this whole thing, and these are what they look like. So, I mean, this looks like Champions Ascension. Again, if you're on TikTok here, check out the bio. We're live on Twitch and YouTube where you can see the visuals with this. But, I mean, okay, so it's kind of this character thing. So, I mean, maybe it looks like Pokemon. Hey, we love Pokemon. Gotta catch them all, Pokemon. But everybody's trying to create some kind of IP that they can bridge off to. Obviously, Artifact has that Nike thing, but for these characters, they're capping at 20,000. We'll see if the interest gets much more on that one. Nifty Island. This is a collection that launched. If you've ever wanted to go on an island, have these different characters that you're a part of. Let's assume that you, I mean, what's a good collection? This doesn't really make sense because it's not really relevant right now, but let's say that there's a homegrown IP like Harry Potter. It's not majorly popular, right? But it exists. And Nifty Island is taking those, which in this case is kind of these NFT brands, which are kind of niche right now. Not many people are paying attention to them, and they allow them to play in this world. And he was kind of making a joke saying here, Nifty Island just gave a bunch of NFT collections the most utility they've ever had. Truey! I think that's kind of funny. And honestly, a lot of people say, what the hell is the point of NFTs and the utility? We think that this year is going to be the time that these applications actually change and have something that's interesting. If you guys are tuning in and you're not familiar with Futureverse, they partnered with Ready Player One to create the world that is in Ready Player One. So if you've never seen the movie, first of all, go check it out. But if you like the aspect of all those brands and IPs and the fight scenes, right? At the end of the movie, there was like Gundam. That's not the right terminology, but the robots fighting, and you had Tracer running through the battlefield. You had a whole bunch of the Star Wars character. It was absolutely insane. And I think that that's something that's really going to change the thoughts of what this blockchain technology can do. Because so far, it's just a whole bunch of people that are doing these images and whatnot. And shout out to A for all the crazy stuff going on TikTok. Guys, this is my first TikTok live. If you enjoy this, please give me a follow. Let me know. And I'll try to do these a little bit more often. Normally, I just do them on YouTube and Twitch. Okay. Here's two different thoughts from two different people regarding Solana. People don't realize it yet, but this Solana shitcoin season will be remembered in history. Random shit pulling 100 X's in hours. Legendary. Okay, so that's one take. And immediately after that, here's another. There is an absolutely savage MEV bot killing Solana coins left and right recently. might be time to go back to ETH. So we have somebody that's bullish about it and then somebody that's bearish as all hell. Kind of hilarious, but that's just the way this stuff works. Now, Planet X, I'm seeing this pop up a little bit more because we are on TikTok. I'm not going to play this full video here on the live stream. But this is something maybe people should be paying attention to. Win real-world prizes in our daily treasure hunts. Free-to-play beta. It's on iOS and Android. It's got 42,000 followers. Curious what's going to really kind of break through on the mainstream in terms of these actual games that are like connected to blockchain in some way or another. But again, 42,000 followers, at least here on X, is pretty insane. And then there was a chart from Pac-Man here saying it's been incredible watching the NFT market's growth the past few months. Shout out to Hill Bobby for making the chart. And we can see that from October of last year, it was trending at what looks to be almost below $10 million. And for I guess the chart shows, I think around the couple days ago, it's upwards of over $40 million in a single day of volume. So again, from under 10 to over 40 in the span of like 3-4 months is wildly impressive. And Mike, man, what's going on? Listen, I'm trying out the TikTok. It's kind of cool. It's really nerve-wracking though, because it says like 100 people are like joining there and there. And I'm like, man, somebody's absolutely talking shit in the chat, I bet. But also huge shout out to A for the amount of, I don't know, these are the things. This is the NPC thing where we go like, thank you for the roses, right? I've seen it. We know it. Okay, here's a thought from Belfort, where recently we've had a huge takeover of new mints. And they come out, they're super hyped up, and is there a rationale for it? We saw that a collection came out, and if you check my feed on TikTok, I actually highlighted it for Crypto Undeads. If you're wanting to go watch that quickly and then come back, you'll be able to see. But this is just a take on that kind of release and the hype that's generated around it. The fact and matter is there is no art a team can provide for a 10K generative PFP profile picture that will blow holders' expectations away and send the floor price soaring. Yes, because we are in 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, we can clap along with it if we want. We want things that are more than just kind of an image. Listen, everybody on here has their own profile right now. It's completely different. We're waiting for the actual applications where it's something where you go out right now and you saw me in person and be like, okay, this guy's wearing a dress shirt. That looks all right. But in this metaverse and online, we're going to start caring about that because that's the way that we are going to interact with each other. And so it's weird that we're still kind of at the stage, but of course, just it comes with the territory. So you might as well just show the art before mint so people can get accustomed to it and you don't arbitrarily cause expectations to skyrocket. Not previewing any art before reveal just adds risk to your launch by nature. Floor price goes down when a collection reveals. There was 10K people hoping for one of the 100 rares, and 99% of people will come away from the reveal disappointed simply because they didn't mint a rare. Timeline was absolutely filled with FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. But for people that are in America, listen, I've heard that Joe Biden, some people don't like the guy. However, news coming out today as of 1:57 p.m., Biden administration to forgive $4.9 billion in student debt for 73,600 borrowers. Holy sheesh, that's crazy. And this is kind of where it comes to when we're kind of, everybody's like, man, what's the economy going to do? Our job's good. We're seeing, oh, this is hiring. Oh, AI is going to take over this, that, and the other thing. And then it's like, wait, hold on, 4.9 billion, that's 73,000 people don't have to pay back. And the youth of tomorrow is like, what are we going to spend this on? How about some stupid internet stuff? Huh? Anybody? No. I think that'll end up having potential ramifications. Now, for your NBA fans, oh my God, the influencer drama. If you don't know, got to go to the NFL for a second. Antonio Brown. The other day, Antonio Brown highlighted a project, and he was like, guys, this is the best thing. Crypto's going to moon. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And then it ended up being a drainer. A whole bunch of people lost all of their assets. And it was really not a good show. And we have this weird, I don't know if we can call it like a stigma, but there always just seems to be something that's weird or fishy when big celebrities get within the ecosystem. And so we have Dwight Howard the other day tweeting about AVAX. And then he's like, oh, thanks, Eleanor. You guys are absolutely fire. At AVAX, just handpicked 250 some wallets for whitelist. Your comments are lit. If you know, you know. 2001, 11:30 p.m. GMT. We mint. Big brain icon. Bro. What? Why is Dwight Howard out here shilling NFTs? I know that he's in Taiwan. I've seen the commercial where he's like holding the cool thing going there. It's unbelievable. 90% of student loans are in forbiddance and not being paid on, so don't think a ton of people will have extra money. All right, Bildo. Well, that just completely wrecks the thought that I had on that. So still, either way, pretty crazy that Dwight Howard is out highlighting these things. Now, there's been a little bit of drama within the space. It might not have been around your timeline because we have Animoca Brands. And Animoca Brands is highlighting, or sorry, it was using the Mocha token symbol, and this Mocha Museum of Crypto Art was saying, hey, you stole this. Within the Futureverse ecosystem, I saw somebody show that there's this root protocol that's coming out, and I was like, damn, like that is, huh? So we have kind of a confluence of the token tickers that are potentially going to maybe end in lawsuits. Who knows? Maybe cease and desist. Not entirely sure. We already talked about this right quick, but just to re-mention, if anybody's kind of tuning in a little bit late here, for Immutable, they are partnering with Cool Cats to launch Match 3, which is supposed to be a casual game. Now, a older collection that you might have remembered that you haven't seen in a little bit is Moonrunners. When this collection came out, for whatever reason, people were incredibly hyped up about it. It was a collection that absolutely soared for a few days, and then I just feel like not many people talked about it ever since, but it's still around. It's relatively active. And I guess they're hiring different people, as their most recent post is a retweet from somebody saying that they are on their, or they're hired as their social media manager. Also, there's $1.77 trillion of student loan debt. 4.9 billion is only 0.2%. The amount of money in the world is insane. That's all I've got to say. So Quirkies, this is a collection that has been out for a little bit, and they just announced that they are partnered with Board Brewing Co., which again, that's kind of cool. But it also re-highlights to me that a lot of these are still kind of just brands. They're brands that have these NFTs that are connected with it, but they're still doing different things to try to get more popular. Now, why are Quirky Floors running? I don't think it's because of that drink announcement, but Z Jenkins here saying it's solid art and PFP, engaging story, active team, sick merch, one of the greatest communities, been there since the early days, transparent and honest founders. All right, does that make you bullish? I mean, respectfully, does that actually make you bullish on a collection? Because I feel like that's pretty much everything you could say about any single collection that's out there. And so I'm just like, I'm like, right? But still, that's cool that they're there. Now, PayPal. This is a big announcement that potentially has a ripple effect on what's going on with Web3, because we have a thing within the blockchain space where we say, okay, that is a buzzword, right? When we say it's got a great community, that's a buzzword. For these legacy companies, when they say that they're involved in blockchain, is that a buzzword, or is that something that can end up adding to their valuation right now? I mean, honestly, right? Because I think if we do see crypto have like a general uptick, would that not then introduce a whole bunch of people that are in kind of the broader markets to say, hey, we need to figure out how we can offer blockchain solutions, integration, whatever. So the PayPal CEO goes on like this national news the other day and says that they're going to shock the world in exactly 1 week on January 25th. So PayPal is coming out with some big announcement. Do we think it's Web3 related? It could be. That's kind of my bet for that, but I could be wrong. So Last Expedition is a game that's created by Gala Games. Why am I bringing this up? Well, we have Immutable. They have 100 plus games. Gala Games is another big partnership. And spoiler alert, we're going to get into Ronin Network here in a moment, but I think that it's interesting to follow what these big blockchain companies are doing. Now, the thing that I dislike about Gala is that they have these actual working games, but they don't have anybody that's out there actually making content. Like Last Expedition, they have a retweet for Crypto Stash in September of last year, another one on the 26th. 27th of September, and then all of a sudden they're tweeting on December 15th. So if you're out there, you're working on a project, you need some short videos, you want people to make content about it, feel free to reach out. We can make it good, okay? But like, this is ridiculous. If you actually have a fully fledged working game, why is there almost zero social presence on this? Especially if you think that the game is good. Which I saw this, and this was kind of the reason that I talked about it, is because Wendy was highlighting the Go Gala music. And because they're doing these nodes and whatnot, and somebody replied to her saying, what a dead project. Look how Gala price. It's the worst performance. The dev always sell and tank Gala price. It's fact. So, okay. And Jason says, we are absolutely not a dead project. Yes, we sell some tokens from the daily distro, but only because we burned 21 billion tokens. There is more coming than you realize. Again, that's kind of cool. But why do we not have these kind of bigger content pieces that are attached to it? So here we go. Switching over to Ronin for a second with Axie Infinity, one of the biggest blockchain games out there. Welcome to Lunacia. I have no idea how to say that. RumbleKong. So we talked about RumbleKongs yesterday. I'm apparently turning into a prophet here. And they're saying today, Lunacia opens up its doors to RumbleKong League, one of the relentless builders and communities in Web3 gaming. Verified holders of RumbleKong NFTs will be able to claim a free Axie and get VIP onboarding through our new onboarding platform. We're opening up applications for other interested communities to receive the gift of Axie soon. For now, we're thrilled to welcome RumbleKong Leagues to the Axie community. We can't wait to see some high flyers and 3-point snipers running around Lunacia. So I'm guessing this Lunacia thing is like their metaverse play that they're going after. But I don't really see, like, what's this collab for, right? Like, as a person that's not familiar with the situation, to me, this looks like, okay, these people are trying to cross-pollinate, get user acquisition, unless this Lunacia is like the metaverse out there for Axie and Mike Man. Lunacia is their lore. Okay, so if it's their lore, does that not feel weird that we have these miniature creatures that are then like corroborated with these like apes that have crowns and everything? I mean, maybe the IP is similar. To me, I think it's a little bit weird, but I appreciate you with the insight. And also, you're saying PayPal is ass, down 25% since I bought shares. That is tough. No, it's a dev game to play on Ronin. Okay, cool. So again, this is the kind of thing though is, and I mentioned it, I was on a Spaces today regarding Say, and I'm posting the full Twitter space of that, but I'm going to do kind of like a little bit of an explanation before I go into that. So keep an eye on the channel for that. And again, if you're on TikTok, be sure to check out the bio because we are live over on X, Twitch, and YouTube. But I think that there's still a lot of announcements and things that go out that people see on their timelines, but they're just not familiar with what it is. And there could still be a way of, making it so everybody understands everything on these big announcements. The big thing for Axie is their Homeland beta dropping next week. Okay. Thank you. We will keep an eye on that. All right. The good old Beanie here. Welcome to the endless barrage of unoriginal mid-pixel art PFP launches season. This time it's gone multi-chain. Millions will be made by those selling the art. 99.9% will be irrelevant within 24 months. We've seen the same story play out so many times, yet you're gonna FOMO anon. True. So my concept with this is I agree, like fully. And so what I've done over the past little bit is I've really just been like, okay, I have a game plan. If you don't have a game plan, nothing's ever going to work, right? And so I've just been like, okay, I'm only focusing on this. All these other things, there's excitement. Maybe I feel like, oh yeah, I could buy into that. I could do this, but do I have conviction in it? Am I just gambling like people say, oh, NFTs are gambling, this and that? Well, I mean, a component of it is, and sure as shit, this component is. So I'm just like, hey, I'm comfortable with where I am, and it's really awesome to see people that are like that. But for anybody that's new in the space trying to figure things out, we can say, hey, we can say hey and try to bring them into the family and yell, hey, thank you so much for that, for the nice voice. I feel like I started on here and I was running like a mile a minute because I couldn't breathe. The TikTok slowed down a little bit, so we're chilling. But damn, initially, that when you first go live kick is crazy. Rumor is they're removing land staking and making an in-game access loop to earn in the beta. Oh, Mike Man's got the insights. Okay, plug your ears if you don't like FUD. Plug them. So Crypto Undead's revealed, and it's basically another pixel art project with Nakamigo vibes all over again. The difference is that the founder got paid $3 million for this and will likely soft rug. In 6 months, nobody will talk about this anymore, so that's predictable. Now, that goes back. I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm just bringing the takes that we see on the timeline. That's what XFeed is, by the way. If you're not familiar, that's now you're aware. We go over the timeline, seeing whether it's bullish, bearish. We talk both sides of it. But this is the problem with it, is like, how long is the hype there for? It feels like everybody was hyped up on the unrevealed aspect and the anticipation, and then it launches, and then you're like, oh, okay, I was hyped up on something that I didn't know what it was. Then you find out, then you kind of have the special unwinding of the excitement. And I feel sorry for the Nakamigos community to be compared with this one, to be honest. Now, this was kind of funny because someone said that the entire Crypto Undead collection is just a derivative of the guy's profile picture, and now I can't unsee it. And the guy's got a profile picture of a punk. It's easier if I show up side by side here, with a beard. And for all of these, you can see with the beard unshaven, the bald, and the top part. But I mean, it's kind of pixel art, so it is what it is. I don't know how much you can say that it is, 100% a deriv, but like, it sure as shit looks like it. And then another kind of comparison here is that people are saying, yo, this looks like Crypto Undeads. And so, I mean, this is where we get the argument of music, right? Where people say, oh, that beat, that sound, it's all been repeated. We've heard it before from this other song. And we're getting there. With these NFT collections that are just like profile pictures, they're all going to look really similar because not many people are doing things that differently. If it's pixel art that's about a face with traits that are relatively all the same, it's going to happen that way, right? Now, famous YouTuber Nelk Boys bought ENS name Board Jerky for 1.58 ETH or $4,000 essentially. So it looks like the Nelk Boys are trying to integrate within the Web3 community, be like, hey, you like NFTs? Come pay attention to what we're doing here. I think that's cool that they're trying to integrate in that aspect. Coming in from Alex Becker, who's a massive YouTuber, absolutely nowhere where I am. However, if you are watching live, please drop a like, whether you're on X or YouTube, or if you're on Twitch. I appreciate that you guys are following, and be sure to subscribe if you are on the YouTube channel, and maybe tell a friend if you enjoy it. I'm early investing, researching and buying more than ever while everyone is calling a top. I agree with this. I feel like everybody's screaming NFTs are dead, crypto's dead, yada, yada, yada. The prices will be 5 to X what they are within 1 to 2 years. Everyone will look back and say, oh, why wasn't I more active? And this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this show. You might not care about what's going on in the space, but we try to make it fun, right? We bring everybody together. We talk over the highlights. We fud a little bit here and there. I slur my words all the time. It's delightful. You got to hang back, maybe order a shakaroni. Those don't exist. However, Little Papa John's tip for you, the ultimate pepperoni. It's 30% more pepperoni. Take the Parmesan topping cheese off, and it's pretty damn close to what the shakaroni was. Anyway, everyone will look back and say, oh, why wasn't I more active? As I just said, and that's true. I think if you look at the past, like, I don't want to harp on this point again, but I feel like there's a lot of people that are disinterested in their lives. Like, do you have something that you feel you wake up and you're passionate about besides work, right? I know a lot of people love work. A lot of people love the gym. But beyond that, is there a show that you watch? For myself, I remember when The Last of Us came out, every week the new episode came out, we sat down and we watched it, and that was something that we were looking forward to. And then there's kind of a lull. Sure, I try to watch Call of Duty League, I watch Zuma, esports in general for League of Legends. I find that kind of interesting, but like, if I don't watch it, it's kind of whatever. But for NFTs, I feel like I'm always engaged, always interested, and there's always something to talk about. Now, the answer for why wasn't I more interested or active, because right now is boring. Truly, if your crypto activity peaks when it's pumping, this is why you haven't made it. So obviously you guys are here, so wag me, baby. Wag me. Machi Bro, if you don't know what Big Machi Bro looks like, this is him with Vitalik, apparently, and he's doing like the 3 here, which the Gary V does the 5. Apparently Machi Bro does the 3. I thought that was kind of a good pick to share there. All right, massive update for the Rodin wallet. It now supports ETH, Polygon, and the Binance Smart Chain. This is important for retaining users in the long term. On board with the Rodin network game, explore the rest of Web3 without charting from the ecosystem. In-wallet notice will re-engage them on Ronin. So things are going to be multi-chain. Everything is going to try to become interoperable. And Ronin is really moving here to highlight the aspect that their wallet that they've personally built and probably have built-in royalties, which is another topic we're not going to get into right now, but truly is a thing. It's going to get spicy. That's all I have to say regarding that one. This is a little bit of real world news, and I'm going to try to pitch it. This is highlighting that more people are going to spend in the metaverse or be online more. Tell me if that's a good way of using this or not. So Chinese travelers aren't flying overseas nearly as much as they once were, erasing 130 billion from global tourism. I don't even like leaving my house for a second. So I mean, for all the people that want to go abroad, that's super cool and whatnot, but 130 billion erased from global tourism. And there's a whole article from Bloomberg, but still, I think a lot of people are enjoying the fact they're staying home and they're just having a good time. You know what I mean? So NFL all day. This has been a interesting launch because they came out a while ago. NBA Top Shot had the insane run that it did. NFL all day was incredibly hyped up because people are like, this is the NFL. And all the NFL fans are crazy. We talked about the stats from that stupid Peacock game that was broadcast the other day. People had to download an app to watch it. If you were in the States, luckily in Canada, we didn't have that, or just like our TSN and whatnot had the feed normally. Excuse me. But there has been some major sales. There was, I think, like an Aaron Donald one that I highlighted on my TikTok a little bit earlier today. And then this one of Aaron Rodgers for $34,000. A one of one. And I mean, $34,000. What would you do with $34,000? Would you buy a digital moment of Aaron Rodgers celebrating a touchdown? I mean, I don't know, dude. Still, nonetheless, another big collection that sold out here from Trevor. Ninjas sold out. Thank you so much to everyone who participated in this incredible journey. We hope you got a ninja you love and that you spend countless hours playing around with the features of the app. Resize your ninja so big it breaks your browser. I guess that's part of the utility. Download all the stickers for your ninja and post them all over social media. Make a custom ninja animation and try the new ones made by the community. Get high scores on all the ROMs and play your favorite Super Nintendo game for hours, and more importantly, I hope you'll connect with the other ninjas, builders, and join our mission. So it's a Bitcoin Ordinal project. And listen, everything is starting to get bids right now. We're going to highlight more grails here before we wrap out. But just know that new mints are kind of the alpha or the hyped up thing, depending on the mint price, right? I don't know if we can use the word alpha based off the mint price, but it depends. And then I saw Beagle here, and he says it's an absolute madhouse in here. A lot of bunnies looking for these carrots. Wolf game on say. I'm not fading it. So I don't know if this is actually Wolf game on say, because Wolf game had probably some of the biggest hype and momentum in a 9-day span that I've ever seen, literally ever. So yeah, I mean, it could be, but Say is starting to get up there. Again, I'm making a new YouTube video that's going to highlight the Say ecosystem off a Twitter space that I did this morning. It was cool because I got to talk with a lot of other founders, not just the project that was running it. And they do have a lot of things that were saying there's a lot of BS that's coming out because of the chain hype, but they're also concerned at the same time because there's not enough liquidity within their NFT ecosystem. But at some point, that could change. The Wolf game hype was lit. Mike, truly. So, this is a post by Dragon Chain about some legal fund for Dragon Chain. I don't know if they're getting sued by the SEC or what this is, but the graphic caught my attention, okay? So I know that I need to work on my thumbnails on YouTube, guys. I know. But on this, it's like, okay, so typically you go to a store and you have MasterCard, Visa, I think that's Google Pay, and then Apple Pay. There's not really any options for crypto or anything. But then you see below here where they have like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Polkadot, USDC. Yeah. The point being is that it's awesome to know that this is what's going to look like for all of our like online experiences at some point in the future. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not a month from now, but it's going to be awesome that the user has their own ability to pick the payments that they want, where we're not kind of, hey, you need a MasterCard, you need a Visa, you need this Google Pay, yada, yada, yada. I think it's going to open a lot of doors. I'm very excited for that. Talking about grails a lot, look at this. The Doge Mocha going for 20 ETH or $49,661. And this was yesterday, but still, as a reminder, the grails are moving. Get ready for the floors of everything. Now, if you're in Web3 and you're looking for a job, I saw this, so I just wanted to give a little quick shout out for anybody that is looking. Parallel Finance or Parallel Network, they're working on being an omni-chain where it's kind of like a lending and borrowing platform where if you have a Bored Ape or Mutant Ape, you are able to stake on their platform, borrowing somebody else's ape coin. But it's also a place where you can just borrow and lend NFTs. And it's one where like I can give my NFT that's on ETH and then they can give me liquidity on Say. So it's omni-chain. It's pretty crazy, but they're looking for a community manager. So if you know anybody that's looking for a job in Web3, that might be for you. A lot of hyped up things during the bear market. This is one of them. It was called Outlaws. The social currency was ridiculous on it. Everyone was saying, oh, this is great. They're posting it. People are changing their profile pictures of it. And then to the post we were talking about earlier where people were saying, you know, a lot of these collections are irrelevant within 12 months. This is one that I think was upwards of like $250 to $300 on secondary, if not more. And now I think it's going for like $4, right? But it did almost 3,000 Ethereum in trading volume. And why? Because the social currency and everybody was talking about it. So while you're on Twitter, it's fun and exciting, but also at the same time, you know, try not to be stupid with it. Okay. Hi, guys. Yo, Huddle Hill, what's going on? How are you? This is wild, and it's also incredible fun. Yikes. I found out that one of my penguins still had a 7 ETH active listing on the Coinbase NFT marketplace. You literally could have bought this penguin for 7 ETH up until now. Thankfully, no one uses Coinbase NFT, not even when there's a free penguin for sale. So there is arbitrage opportunities that are out there, but man, was the NFT marketplace for Coinbase ever a gigantic flop. So shout out to Justin. Justin's engaged with a whole bunch of my stuff. And again, I appreciate a lot of you guys and I see all of you that do it. But he posted this and I was like, I don't know why. I think this is kind of cool, but it's this Critters Cult, a sci-fi mystery. And I don't really know anything about it, but the characters look kind of cool. Again, it's pixelated. This looks like RuneScape type vibes. I don't know. I'm just mentioning it because maybe this is a collection that could end up finding some traction. But again, shout out to Justin. Appreciate you engaging with all my stuff, brother. Okay, so this is where we get to have a little bit of a discussion of maybe you guys have some input on it. So YouTube, Spotify will follow Netflix in snubbing Apple's headset, and they don't plan to offer apps for Apple Vision Pro. So we've highlighted on the show a lot where Apple is trying to implement these different sales taxes, trying to get people not to use their own payment platform. And we all know that Apple kind of has a monopoly on things. But YouTube, Spotify, and Netflix are, again, pretty massive apps that millions upon millions, if not billions of people use collectively. So when you think of the Apple Vision Pro and you're thinking about ordering one for like $3,000, holy shit, does that change your mind if those apps aren't available on there, if there's no integration? Now, I believe it's still called the Oculus for the Facebook side of things, or Meta. And so I guess they could still build apps for that. But if the Vision Pro takes off, like I don't know. I just feel like there could be a massive shakeup within the big brand space of how the future is, because is it something where we're asking for this open, decentralized future where there's not these monopolies, but then for some of the toolings that you need, I mean, obviously there's going to be like knockoffs of what the Apple Vision Pro is. But do things get shaken up a little bit? I think probably. All right, Gutter Cat Gang. They posted a video, and it was literally just a gas cannon with like air floating around it. I have no idea. It sounds like an explosion's happening. We'll see what follows for Gutter Cat Gang here. Pixelmon Hunting Ground Action RPG, early work in progress. So this is kind of a quick little clip of what it looks like for the Pixelmon game. Again, Pixelmon was a collection that came out They raised a ton of money off of like nothing. They started the thread. I don't know if it's called Franklin. No. Oh, it's going to bother me. What the hell is the stupid green character that's like the goblin? Everybody made a whole bunch of memes about it. It's definitely not Franklin, but I want to say that it is. What? No, not the Green Goblin. Oh, what the hell is the stupid name of it? They went for like 5 ETH at a point. If anybody can think of it, Kevin. Kevin, thank you, Molten Lava. Oh my goodness, Kevin. So they created Kevin and it became a meme. And then they realized like the founder had no interest in building something, or there was all the shady stuff. It got acquired, or people joined the founder because they were like some 13-year-old or something ridiculous and they had like $90 million, right? So Pixelmon was funded to all hell. It's come back. They've rebranded everything. And honestly, they seem like one of the collections that have worked pretty well in terms of like delivering it and getting things out there. Okay, a little bit of a spicy meatball here for your NBA Top Shot fans. Hope you're sitting down. This is the single biggest NBA Top Shot announcement that has ever happened. Okay, so I want to preface that this is actually not an announcement, but this is a prediction. And this was yesterday, and it got 400,000 views on X. It says the NBA is going to shut down the social video free for all with their IP as part of their broadcast deals. But I think what they meant to say is that like you can have clips within NBA Top Shot. There's people that are buying these moments, and if I posted a clip yesterday of Colin Cowherd. He compared Justin Fields to NFTs. And it was hilarious, right? And it was like a 20-second clip in like my 50-minute live stream, but it got demonetized. I make like 20 cents a video, so it's relatively irrelevant in that term right now. But those things matter, and we're seeing where within the Call of Duty esports, they paid for YouTube to have the YouTube paid to have the exclusive rights for the footage, and so some of the top co-streamers that live stream the games on Twitch, and I mean now they're doing it on YouTube too, where previously they could do it on both. YouTube and Call of Duty are basically saying you're not allowed to live stream this stuff on Twitch anymore, because it's exclusive to YouTube. So this is kind of the thought with, okay, for the NBA, if they're trying to milk more money, if they have these exclusive deals, with NBA Top Shot, if you own the moment, then are you allowed to give other people rights to use it? If somebody infringes on it, how are you going to take any legal case? Like, it doesn't make any, So this would be crazy if it did happen. But again, it sounds like there is a pretty major partnership between Top Shot and the NBA. But again, you never know. Money talks. 20 cents whale. Truly. Okay. High Chain. Hi, guys. How are you? Do you remember High Chain? The thing that was NFT Worlds before. They are doing a node sale. The liquidity that is flying around within NFTs from airdrops, things that are successful, if there's these nodes that people can run, similar to Gala nodes, this is all just more liquidity that is coming into the space. And this is their thread on it. What are high chain nodes? High chain nodes will help secure the high chain network, and in exchange for their services, receive rewards at intervals for their contribution to the high chain network. How will I run a high chain node? When high chain nodes go live, you will need to have purchased at least one high chain node key through our node key sale. Then you'll need to download and run the high chain node client that will make available on the high chain website. What hardware do I need to run a node? High chain nodes are not compute or workload intensive. They take relatively little resources. You'll be able to run your node on pretty much any Windows, Mac, or Linux machine, so long as you have an internet connection. And this is great. This is great because we have had nodes before where it requires a little bit more technical implications, where you follow a YouTube guide. Thank God for YouTube guides. But this sounds like it's going to be relatively easy to set up. So what are the rewards that the nodes get? 200 billion Topia, wait, nope, that's 200 million, not a billion, million, correction, is allocated to node rewards to be distributed over a 3-year timeline once node operations start. Additionally, 25% of all network fees in Topia will perpetually be split pro rata to node operators for their contributions. So how do the network fee rewards work? Anytime a transaction is processed on a high chain, some amount of fees are taken for the transaction to be processed. The total fees in any given day are dependent on the amount of activity on the high chain network. As high chain grows in use and scale, it increases, yada, yada, yada. How does pro rata reward distribution work? Blah. We'll go with that. Can I buy more than one node key? Yes, absolutely. You can also use as many node keys as you own from one device running your node. And how will the node keys be priced? This is the last thing we'll touch on here. For tier 1, there's going to be 3,183 of them, and the price is at 0.1 ETH. So this is going to be a ladder. I'm trying to think of what the hell we used to call these. Bonding curve? We called it a bonding curve or a different terminology? I think it was a bonding curve. So as you go down here, if you get up to tier like 19, it's going to cost 1.23 ETH. And then at tier 30, it's 5.75. So woo, we're going to curve pretty aggressively up there. I already got people looking at this document and whatnot. But again, for that initial start at 0.1 ETH, if you can get in there, that sounds like that is going to be very much worth it. So again, if you guys are wanting to pay attention to this, it's highchain_games. It's on the screen. Watch the VOD if you miss it. But that's going to be something that people are going to be putting in alpha groups. They're going to be going for. Obviously, be careful with that because we don't know how the gas is going to work, all this other thing. If they're, do your own research, but I think for those early stages, the demand's going to be ridiculous. Just telling you here. Okay, we've talked about OniForce a little bit, and I still don't really understand where the hype is coming from. Once again, if you're watching on TikTok, we are live on X and YouTube. If you check my bio, maybe give a like up here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And they're extremely proud to announce their new partnership and extend a warm welcome to new Tokyo friends. 10K TF shop Gucci Grails and G-Tag holders will be able to earn points in the Oni point system starting Thursday. I don't understand this at all. So it sounds like OniForce is partnering with 10K TF shop for some reason, or I guess it's just 10K TF, and they're going to have points associated with it. I don't know what points are for OniForce, but I know that OniForce has gotten a lot of interest. So I'm just kind of highlighting that this is here. And all Gucci Grail and G-Tag holders will be able to earn passive points by holding Gucci Grails or G-Tags and complete challenges to compete for over $300,000 in prizes. And this is something that I've been trying to harp on too. For these collections, they have the funding, expect a lot of money to be injected to make things interesting. Speaking of interesting, Donald Trump is apparently launching trading cards on Bitcoin Ordinals. Somebody made a tweet today about how like Donald Trump is getting on-chain NFTs before any of the major ETH collections. Haha, kind of funny. But at the same time, Trump previous cards, I think you could get like meetings with them if you had certain ones. But yeah, if you're interested, there you go. Okay, let's go over this 15 tips for NFT beginners from Bankless. We're going to rate these things good, garbage, yada, yada, yada. All right, not everything is a flip. Okay, newcomers tend to initially approach all NFTs as investments, which is a recipe for frustration. Interesting choice of wording. You can speculate on each and every NFT, but there are many different types of NFTs, and many are not buy low, sell higher plays. Okay, relatively agree. I can't think too much to argue on that. Ceilings are for fans. What the hell does that mean? You may find yourself fawning over the NFTs with the rarest traits in a collection. These rare NFTs tend to be very illiquid compared to their less rare counterparts. Only go after rare NFTs if you love them and wouldn't mind holding long term. This is why 98% of my fluff collection are all floors. Truey! NFTs are levered longs. Owning an Ethereum NFT can be like having a leveraged investment in ETH. If ETH pumps, an Ethereum NFT's price may increase even more so percentage-wise. Be careful though, if ETH drops and the NFT's value, then the NFT's value could follow. Again, agree with that one. Their tip number 4, try to always mint 2. There's always new drops happening. Big time, truly. Some of these projects may go on to become very popular. A good rule of thumb is to mint at least 2 NFTs from any given drop. This way, you have one to keep and enjoy forever if you'd like, while also having one to sell. I don't really follow that at all. I mean, that's mainly just because I don't think there's anything that I've like really wanted to mint lately. And if I did, it would probably be more than two, obviously depending on the price, right? But yeah, I agree with that. Yo, Huddle. I could count my flips on one hand. Yo, hell yeah. The positive or negative flips, if you know what I mean. Huh? Well, which are they? Beware of scams. Truly. An unfortunate reality of NFTs is that scammers are on the prowl here. As such, you have to take wallet security seriously at all times. Consider the following, and you can make sure hackers don't have the work cut out for them. Siloing your most valuable NFTs in a safe multi-sig, minting from a dedicated mint wallet that doesn't store your main crypto holdings, using transaction preview tools like Fire to vet your transactions. There's Wallet Guard is another one. Routinely revoking your old token approvals on revoke.cash to defend against smart contract hacks. That's a big one. Definitely agree with that. And then researching and cross-checking drop links to avoid fake mint traps. That happens all of the time. It really does. It really, really does. So don't read the comments, don't do anything. Make sure that when you click on an X profile, you have several people that are also following it. Because ones that have a huge following base that you don't have anybody following, it could be the scam account. Don't rush on new chains. We've seen a resurgence of NFTs on non-Ethereum networks like Bitcoin, Solana, Cosmos, and Layer 2 scaling solutions. If you're new to NFTs, though, don't cut corners due to FOMO. Do your research beforehand and make security a priority. Just mint it. Not sure your creative work is worth tokenizing as an NFT? Ignore these doubts. Just mint it. Experiment, explore, try different platforms, archive your work, old or new, on-chain for posterity, and see what happens. Explore NFTs as a medium, and that's something that I definitely encourage everybody. And of course, as a reminder, if you do have any friends that are thinking about checking into the space, they're not really got their foot in the door, and maybe they're wanting to get a little bit of interest, maybe share the stream with them. They might find it engaging or interesting. That's kind of the hope that I have with this, is to say, you find this interesting? Well, welcome to the future. Some projects like Math Castles can exist as they do without NFTs, and are some of the finest demonstrations of boundary pushing creativity in crypto today. Level equals 3D location. You can't see on TikTok, but there's like a whirly thing going on. What the hell? What stocks to buy? Okay, what stocks to buy? Listen, you got to buy the Schillerverse stocks, if you know what I'm saying. I'm just kidding. Honestly, I don't really follow the stock market a whole lot, so I'm definitely not the one to ask. However, not sure, Mike, man, Mr. Bill, Huddle, if you guys, listen, Molden, if you guys got any tips, feel free to throw them in the chat. Experiment with NFT games. The NFT gaming sector may still be young and experimental, but its potential to disrupt mainstream gaming in big ways grows by the day. Truly. Engage in interesting communities. Found a project you like, hop into this Discord server and have a look around. This, I mean, I don't really care. I mean, I think for like most of the Discords, like don't join them for like a collection. I have a Discord. If you want to join it, it's discord.gg/Schiller, but it's like SCHILLER, not like the normal way to spell Schiller, technically, if you know what I mean. And that's like kind of, we're open, we're talking about NFTs as a whole, but like to jump in and go to a specific collections Discord, they're only going to be talking about that project in the general chat. The only way that you're going to have conversations that are outside of that is probably in the holders chats or the alpha chat. So it doesn't really do a service for you. But if you can find communities that talk about this and that's their idea, I think that's a good place to go. Try a new project. It seems like new platforms and protocols arrive every day in the NFT space. Don't be complacent. These ops can lead to other rewards like discovering more new projects or earning airdrops from protocols that are decentralizing their community. So this is good, but it kind of goes in the notion of like, make sure you're not the very first one and that other people are doing it. There hasn't been any kind of like security concerns, yada, 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 yada. Keep an eye on gas fees. True, Ethereum sucks for this. In times of high network activity, the gas costs of transactions on chains like Bitcoin and Ethereum can run pretty steep. Facing high gas prices, wait for a period of lower activity when prices get cheaper to save money. And so right now we're at like 15 Gwei, which is relatively inexpensive. Number 13, don't overinvest. Number 14, don't overfret yourselves. And number 15, mind your taxes. Truly, you know what? we are going to give the opening thread of this a like. And we have a bookmark, of course. Love it. So relatively good one from Bankless there. Do enjoy it. And I don't know why that opened on another page. Okay. CryptoPunk news. Punks, thanks for your patience. The team has identified and fixed the issue with the stash contract, and CryptoPunk 721 has been relaunched. The goal of CryptoPunk 721 is to create a safer and healthier ecosystem for the punk community. With a more efficient, officially endorsed wrapper, a cleaner UI UX, and featuring underlying tech that opens up future opportunities within the current CryptoPunks marketplace. So I think this is kind of similar to what they're anticipating with Magic Eden, where it's like, okay, if you're able to get the NFTs on a new contract, this is putting them in a wrapper. You can enforce royalties. I'm not sure if like the definition of wrapper is just a way that you can safely transfer them, or if this enforces the royalties within that wrapper. But obviously we're seeing across the board, all these collections trying to come up with a way of, what's the right term here? A way of enforcing royalties so they can get paid, I guess. Pranksy listing doodles. Oh my God. What's up? He says, sell grails, buy floors. True. Again, that's why 98% of my collection is floor fluffies. This isn't brand versus brand. Web3 needs to stop taking sides and making this extremely competitive between collections. Everyone has their own preferred taste, aesthetics, and standards. Everyone finds a belonging somewhere. The goal is to make Web3 greater as a whole. Truly. That's going to be it for this edition of XFi. If you guys like these, if you want me to keep doing them, I'm going to do them anyway, but I would love it if you give me a fat thumbs up on there. Maybe leave a comment afterwards on the video. Share it with one friend. Things are looking spicy here in Web3, and I want to be on that journey with you. Again, this has been live streamed on TikTok, so if you are kind of joining for the first time, we're wrapping things up, but we do go live every single day. Normally, it's earlier in the day, but it just seemed like everybody was making all these crazy announcements on Friday. So something to keep in mind, but we will be back on Monday. If you're watching the NFL playoffs on the weekend, enjoy them. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will talk soon. Thanks so much. Peace, peace.